Today is May 4th, also known as Star Wars Day. Whether you like it or not, Star Wars is one of the biggest franchises of all time, and over the past 40 years, it has had a lot of forms of media dedicated to it. Spin-offs, TV shows, toys, and of course, video games. So in honor of this beloved day, let's take a look at one of the most notable Star Wars games, Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo. Starting off after the title screen, you get a nice little 16-bit rendition of the classic Star Wars text scrolling, but I have to say, it's pretty hard to read this version. The music and cutscenes are pretty darn good though, and faithful to the movie. After that, we start off on the first level in the game, the Dune Sea. The gameplay is really good. You play as Luke and use his blaster to shoot enemies. The controls are fluent and you can shoot in 8 directions, shoot while jumping, and hold down the fire button to repeatedly shoot, which are all really nice. What's not nice, however, is how fast the enemies respawn. I kill these guys over and over and they keep coming back. Enemies do drop hearts most of the time, but I say you're wasting your time fighting them. So just skip them all and make your way to the first boss, the Sarlacc Pit Monster, who has an awful lot of HP for the first boss of a game. Seriously, this thing takes forever to kill and makes me nervous to think how hard future bosses will be. After the level is over, we meet Free CPO, which is a bit different from the way Luke meets him in the movie. Anyway, his buddy R2-D2 has been stolen by Jawas and it's up to us to save him. Now it's on to level 2 where we ride on a land speeder and it makes good use of the SNES's Mode 7 graphics. The goal is just to shoot a certain amount of Jawas and then make your way to the Sandcrawler. But making your way to the Sandcrawler is a lot harder than it should be. 1. While making your way there, Jawas keep respawning. 2. It's hard to turn yourself around. And 3. It's kind of hard to know where you're going if you don't know where it is. A map would be nice. After that, we have level 3, outside the Sandcrawler, and now the sound Jawas make when you kill them are really starting to get on my nerves, as well as the stupid sound effect that plays when you're on this platform when an arrow indicates you need to go up. I know I'm supposed to go up, an arrow's enough. Do you really have to play that annoying sound effect too? The level itself has some tricky platforming where if you make one wrong move you fall back to the start. And what makes it worse is having to hear that irritating sound effect again and again, and all the enemies responding ridiculously fast. But we make our way to the end of the level and enter the inside of the Sandcrawler. Believe it or not, the inside of the Sandcrawler level is even worse than the outside. It starts off okay, then you get to these force fields that you can't seem to get through. You try everything. You try shooting it, you try jumping through it, you try to bounce your shots at angles to maybe hit a switch, but nothing works. You can't even go back because the ledge is too high. I stood here trying to figure out what you're supposed to do for at least 15 minutes before I decided to give up and look it up on the internet. As it turns out, what you're supposed to do is do a slide move by hitting down, right, or left, and A. How was I supposed to figure this out? It feels more like a glitch in the actual way you're supposed to do it. Also, you have to do it in the right spot, or you take damage and you can't get through. Well, actually, that doesn't even make sense because no matter what you do, you always take damage. I'm serious. After you get past the force fields, there's quite a few enemies blocking the way, and I always take a lot of damage during the force field segment. So I keep trying over and over, and I keep dying. Ah, darn it. I died, and I don't have any continues, or extra lives. I think I might have to start the whole level all over again. What? Why am I back at the title screen? That's gonna get annoying. Hopefully I'm not too far off. Why is the opening cutscene playing? No, this can't be. No, they can't. No, wait, you have to start the whole game all over again? Why? Who thought this was a good idea? So if you run out of lives, you're screwed. Why? Who was responsible for this? Why? If you know what? I'm done with this game. Goodbye. Okay, I'm back. And I found out a cool trick, debug mode. On a title screen, if you hit a certain button combination, it's supposed to put the game on essentially an easy mode. You can make yourself invincible and even skip levels, so let's see if it works. And yes, it does. So we're going to skip levels 1 for free and go back to the Sandcrawler. And now we have a character select screen and a lightsaber, which you wouldn't normally get in the game for quite a while. So I chose Chewbacca, who has a more powerful gun, but I kept dying and I ran out of patience, so I decided to try out Invincible mode. It's a lot weirder than you'd expect. You can jump and crouch through ceilings, regular enemies can't hurt you, although things like bottomless pits and lava still kill you. At the end of the level, you fight the lava beast Jawinko. And finally, you're through my least favorite level in the game. After that, R2-D2 is rescued and we are on level 5, Land of the Sand People. It's at this point where bottomless pits are really becoming a problem, especially with how easily enemies can push you off. On the plus side, there's a secret cave that's really easy to grind lives in, so I'd highly recommend doing that. The level ends with us meeting Obi-Wan Kenobi, who gives us our lightsaber. Level 6 is Land of the Bonfas, which is pretty similar to level 5. Level 7 is another land speeder level, and in level 8 in Mos Eisley you start fighting stormtroopers, who respawn way too much. And now we're in level 9, my favorite in the game. It takes a break from being a 2D platformer and becomes more like a beat 'em up. Plus there's this awesome music playing. It's also the first level in the game where you get to legitimately play as Chewbacca. It's a nice change of pace and it keeps the game from getting stale. At the end we meet Han Solo, have a full party, and this is where the game starts getting awesome. Level 10 Escape from Mos Eisley is essentially wave after wave of stormtroopers coming at you. Except for the end, which has this really annoying hovercraft boss, who takes 2,000 hits to kill, so I just gave up and beat him in Invincible mode. After that, our heroes board the Millennium Falcon and enter the Death Star. The opening is annoying, with all the bottomless pits, which are really hard not to fall into. In level 12, Rescue the Princess, you fight this detention guard boss, who again takes way too many hits to kill. Thankfully though, we rescue the princess and enter level 13, the Tractor Beam Core. You have to do painstakingly slow platforming, where one small mistake can send you back to the beginning, and yet there's another boss who takes way too many hits to kill. In the last 2 levels, we fight an X-Wing fighter, destroy things, and finally put an end to the Death Star once and for all, which blows up in glorious 16-bit fashion. And that was Super Star Wars, which I honestly don't know how to score it. On one hand, it lacks a save feature, the bosses are way too difficult, it has a limited amount of continues, and overall it's way too hard even on easy mode. But on the other hand, the gameplay is fluent, it's fairly true to the movie, has a great soundtrack and a variety of genres. The worst thing about it is all of its flaws are pretty easy to fix. Just add a save feature, give an unlimited amount of continues, and I say it's a pretty good game. Sure, not as great as a lot of other Star Wars games, but a good game nonetheless. Overall, I'd say it's a good game, but with some serious flaws. But this isn't the only Star Wars game on a Super Nintendo, because just like the movies, there's a SNES trilogy, and someday I might look into the other games. But not today, because I'm tired. Happy Star Wars Day, everyone, and may the 4th be with you.